Hey guys, how you doing today? I'm unemployed right now, right? So there is no such thing as time. Time is an irrelevant thing. it's like it's like when we all got kicked into our homes at the start of the pandemic, right? Time lost all meaning and it was without value. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm naturally a night owl, so I suspect a lot of these videos are going to be coming at you late at night. Yeah, very strange time, and a very strange time indeed with a very strange leader. That's what this video is going to be about. We're going to be talking about Doug Ford's savagery, right? And not only because when he came into office, he came in with a bunch of lies. He lied about the not eliminating the basic income pilot. Literally the first thing that he did was eliminate the basic income pilot. He lied about the hydro prices. He lied about everything that he said he lied about, and immediately embarked on a class war against who he called the socialists, even though I'm 100% sure he has no idea who those people are, and he has no idea, he has no real understanding of how the system he lives in actually works. It's become more and more obvious that Doug Ford genuinely just cares about money for Doug Ford, and that's the bottom line. But recently, especially like in this last 6 months, this last year, Doug Ford has revealed a really dark figure who is more in line with the figure I'm familiar with, a college dropout drug dealer thug who beats his wife, right? Like that's the person I'm familiar with when we're talking about Doug Ford, which made his ascension to our premiership very shocking. Because it really showed that there are a lot of people in our society who simply don't actually care about the character of an individual when they're voting for them. And Doug Ford, of course, is revealing fully that he does not care about the workers, that he is a barbaric savage who will absolutely abandon whoever he needs to abandon in order to make a penny for himself, right? And I'm not even talking about his plans to privatize further the long-term care home system here, the way that Mike Harris did, in order to exploit the elderly and exploit the weakest citizens we have for further financial gain. Doing things like not paying enough money to the employees so that they have to live in homeless shelters. Doing things like refusing to actually hire exterminators so the places are just filled with bugs, right? No, now we have, and I'm not even talking about the evictions, right? Doug Ford now has lifted evictions here in Ontario, and so now guess what? The media is reporting, oh hey, guess what's happening in Ontario? Lots of evictions, right? Big surprise. We just went through an enormous pandemic. The scale we have never seen, like a once-in-a-lifetime crisis, as it's called. And Doug Ford, at the end of it, and it's not even at the end of it, in the midst of it, just says, oh yeah, sure, those people who have been rendered unemployed, because unemployment is skyrocketing, the people who have been cut out of the economy, because our economy is a total shambles at the moment, as it should be, we're in the midst of a crisis, no, you can evict those people. So homelessness is here to spike, and it's a complete and total disaster if you're among the working class. But Doug Ford doesn't care about them. And it's interesting that the battle lines truly seem to be drawn on the idea of sick days, right? This sick days conflict is really where it seems to be that people have drawn which side of the battle you're going to be on. I find that quite odd, actually. Like, it's not people are being evicted. That's not of note to the liberals, because that's who we're talking about. We're talking about liberals who can't seem to care about people being evicted, but certainly care about these sick days. When we're talking about something like 2 weeks worth, so like 14 days, 10 days of sick days. Now, Doug Ford, of course, when Kathleen Wynne left office, right before she did, she instituted 2 sick days, which of course Doug Ford got rid of immediately, because that's how Doug Ford rolls. And now he's on record as having said that these sick days are a, quote, waste of taxpayer money. Now, let's be really specific what Doug Ford means when he says waste of taxpayer money. What he means, it's a waste of his money and the money of his wealthy donors, right? That's what he's meaning. But at the end of the day, it's not about the money, right? We've seen time and time again, like things like sick days, things like vacation days, like it doesn't really have a big impact on the bottom line of a company, right? But you know what it does do? It puts power into the hands of the worker. One of the things that I've really noticed while I've been on this sort of enforced vacation, as I've started to call it, is that I'm able to actually sleep. I'm able to actually relax. I'm able to actually recover from capitalism, right? This is what the capitalists do not want. They do not want you to recover from capitalism. They want your whole life to be tied in to this constant perpetual grind where you wake up early in the morning, force feed yourself, clean yourself up, commute to a place that you barely tolerate, and then do the job that the capitalists want you to do, and then turn around, go home, maybe watch some TV while you eat your dinner, go to sleep, wake up, do it again. That's what the capitalists want for you, right? And they don't want to give you anything to break you out of that cycle. The most that they're willing to give you are a few meager vacation days so that you can actually sleep for a moment, maybe relax, and then by the time those vacation days are over, it's back to the grind, right? That's how the capitalists operate. And they don't want to give you extra sick days, right? They don't want to give you extra time off. They don't want to give you more time so that you can relax further and realize how badly the capitalist class is actually screwing you over. And so this denial, and on top of this, saying it's a waste of taxpayer money, right? So that's an outright admission by Doug Ford that your health and safety he considers a waste of money, right? He considers it if you get this disease and you die, that's fine. If you need to quarantine yourself and use sick days in order to be able to pay for that, nope, that's a real problem as far as Doug Ford is concerned, which is right in line with the way that he thinks, right? That's why he's completely fine with evicting people. That's why he's completely fine with exploiting the elderly through a privatized long-term care system, right? Doug Ford is what happens when you allow capital to take charge of the situation. And the conservatives are going to do to Doug Ford what the Republicans are attempting to do to Donald Trump, and the Democrats are attempting to do to Donald Trump. They're going to try to convince you that he was an aberration, right? They're going to try to convince you that Doug Ford, oh yeah, he was an aberration that kind of cropped up, but we're much better than that. This is the entire conservative caucus. This is how the conservatives will rule. They will rule by assaulting the working class, by insulting them and saying that their work and effort is a waste of their money, even though they do literally nothing and we do all their work for them. And it's shameful. And what's scary, from my perspective, is that at least 30% of the populace thinks that this is the way that we should be running things. At least 30% of the populace believes that the people who are actually doing the work, who are actually putting in the time, who are actually providing the goods and providing the services, should put their lives at risk, should live in fear, should live in these situations where they have to choose between putting food on their table or risking a deadly disease amidst a global pandemic. 30% of the populace actually genuinely thinks that Doug Ford is doing a good job, when he's probably the worst premier we've had since Mike Harris, right? Oh, conservative to conservative, big surprise there. And this isn't to say that I think that Wynne was the greatest premier that ever lived. She was an opportunist, primarily. And same thing with McGuinty, right? He's an opportunist, primarily, who was in it for his own wealth and prestige. But at least they were responsive and treated workers like they were people. At least they looked at the working class and said, hey, you are also partners in this collective endeavor, right? You are here working, and we need to ensure that you are well taken care of, or we need to ensure that you feel as though you're well taken care of. That's the true liberal position. The liberal position is not to actually help people, it's to convince people that they are actually helping people when they are not. That's the liberal position. And so, the true issue, if you ask me, like, Horath is doing a fine job in terms of her statements, in terms of her own fight against this, like, raving sociopath Doug Ford. But she looks like a substitute teacher, right? She looks like a substitute teacher, and she's talking. She makes these statements, and you can see her, and she's like, and then, like, there's a reason why people don't want to vote Andrea Horwath into office, and it's that she doesn't look like a leader, right? And she doesn't act like a leader. And my big concern is that she's such a weak leader that Doug Ford is going to come over. They're going to have their next election. There's going to be some, like, first-timer empty chair liberal. And Andrea Horwath is going to fumble the ball. Which is a shame, because how could Doug Ford set this up better for her, right? How could it be a better setup? Like, the guy is literally evicting people in the middle of a pandemic, for God's sakes. And we can't get organized support against this. We can't get organized support against the idea that people should have goods and services that they can afford. Like, we can't rally people behind this. Like, what are we, insane? The answer does seem to be yes. And so as we go towards this next election, like, it's stunning to me that Doug Ford continues to maintain the support that he has. It's stunning to me that there are people who are so deluded and gullible that they actually think that Doug Ford has done a good job. Well, and this is the shocking thing. The argument is always, oh, Doug Ford is saving me the taxpayer money. No, he's not. Like, no, he's not. Right? Sure, he's, like, cutting services and committing austerity against the public, but that's more costly in the long run. Your taxes will go up. Like, it's just, we as a people are so gullible and so unable to actually see through a guy who is such an obvious grifter that we refuse to actually coalesce under someone, who looks like a substitute teacher. Ugh, what a time to be alive. I'm hoping for better days, and I'm hoping for better days soon. But we're not going to get them unless we fight, right? We're not going to get them unless we fight. Okay, guys, this is the end of me. Please hit that like button down there. If you made it to the end of this video, please subscribe, right? Extra subscriber a day makes me feel happy about myself. And hey, if you've got a buck in your pocket jangling around, right, please donate to my Patreon, right? I was recently unemployed because I said the word union twice in my workplace, and I could really use any kind of financial or emotional support at the moment. Okay, guys. Good luck out there. Don't let these guys gaslight you, right? That's what they're all trying to do. They're trying to gaslight you. They're trying to convince you that what you see with your own eyes and what you see in the world is not what's happening. And they're trying to keep you isolated, and they're trying to make you think that the way that you think is not the way that millions of other people are thinking. Well, here I am thinking this way. So please don't let them gaslight you. Good luck. We're gonna need it.